Welcome everyone to Bell Ringers episode number 10. Pretty big deal. We are reviewing AEW All Out 2021, which has been the greatest pay-per-view in quite a long time. And I'm joined by two special guests today. We have Cameron and Cameron. QT Cameron has been on this show a few times, and Cameron 2 is making his debut on the show tonight. How's it going, man?
I'm doing great. We're looking forward to talking about this phenomenal show that it was, and I absolutely loved it. Of course, we're going to talk more about it and talk more in depth about it as we go along, but I'm just really excited to join the show for tonight. And yeah, I mean, it's a great show, so I'm sure we'll all have a great time talking about it.
Without further ado, let's talk about the first match on the card, which was a very strong opening match. The Redeemer Miro versus Eddie Kingston for the TNT Championship. This was a very good match. I was very impressed. It was hard hitting. It told the story. What did you guys think of this match?
I thought the opening match was a lot of fun. I thought the opener was a lot of fun. I thought they picked a good choice to open the show. I thought they picked a good choice to open the show with. Miro is on the run of his career so far. Miro has been booked absolutely great in AEW so far. And Eddie Kingston, the sky's the limit for this guy. I really enjoyed the opening match, and I really enjoyed the opening match, and with the finish that they did in this match, I could only imagine that at the Arthur Ashe show, which I think is either next week or in 2 weeks.
It's
a couple of weeks from now.
Okay, I could only imagine that.
Yeah, that's a coming week. Sorry.
Yeah. I could only imagine that at that show they run it back. They run it back again. I could only imagine at that show they run it back again, or at least I think they should. It kind of makes sense. You have Eddie Kingston. It kind of makes sense. You have Eddie Kingston in New York, so that would be a pretty big match to put on the show there. But I thought this was a fun opener. Miro retains as he should. I don't think Miro should be dropping the title until we get to Sammy Guevara. I think Sammy G is going to be the guy to take that TNT Championship off Miro when the time is right. But I don't think the time is right now. I like Eddie Kingston, but it just wasn't his time right now.
All right. And what about you, Cameron?
Yeah, I thought, I guess before I get into my take on that, yes, September 22nd, a couple weeks from now, pretty much, yes, that's when they're going to be heading to New York in Queens at Arthur Ashe Stadium for the big Dynamite episode in New York City for the first time ever. And it is believed by many that they're going to do Miro versus Eddie Kingston in some form of a rematch for the TNT title, which I will say it would be kind of hard not to, with that crowd and that setting. It's kind of hard, like with how much the audience is going to be behind Eddie. It'd be pretty hard for them to pass up on the opportunity to have him win the TNT title in that setting. But I do tend to also agree with Cameron that I think I've loved Miro's reign as champion. I think he's on the run of his career as well, and I think that for me, the perfect guy to defeat him would be either Sammy Guevara or Jungle Boy. And I think that, yeah, I think that down the road, maybe even like Full Gear, I think at that point they could probably do the title switch. Then I think those two would be the perfect guy to take the title from him. But getting back to the match, I thought it was a really, really good opener. And I thought it was a perfect way to start the show because I remember thinking going in, I thought that Pac and Andrade El Idolo would be the opening match before obviously they had to move it to Rampage due to the travel restrictions with Pac and being unable to make the show. So I thought originally that would be the opener. So once that got moved, and then of course they moved the Women's Casino Battle Royal to the main show, I actually didn't know what the opener was going to be. So when I saw, when they kicked off the show and they like Justin Roberts, our opening contest for the TNT title, I'm like, oh, okay. And it was a perfect choice to start the show. It was, I thought going in it'd be a pretty good match. I think Eddie Kingston and Miro, I think their styles complement each other very well. So I thought it was going to be a pretty good match going in. But honestly, in a lot of ways, I thought it even exceeded expectations. And I mean, I thought it was going to be good to begin with. So I mean, that just goes to show you how great both those guys did in there. And I thought Miro going over was the correct decision, and that was a perfect way to kick off what would turn out to be a great night of fun.
Yeah, Miro has put on many classic matches since he debuted, really. Him and Darby was fantastic on Dynamite. This match might have been his best match since he won this title. He's making it seem like a very big deal, and his character work has been next to near perfect. He's truly one of the top guys.
Is it okay if there's one more thing I add to this?
Go ahead.
Oh, another thing I wanted to say also in regards to the TNT Championship is I've absolutely loved this title so far because I remember in the beginning, of course, they just had the tag titles, the women's title and the World Championship, of course. But I've absolutely loved the TNT title also because, like, obviously it's that perfect championship. Like, obviously the World Championship is the biggest prize in the in the game and whatnot. But I think the TNT title's been perfect because, well, one, I've really enjoyed the first four champions, and I like how each reign has differed from the other. Like Cody was, of course, the first champion, and he was one of the top guys in AEW. So he was the perfect guy to establish the title. Then Brody Lee was a perfect choice to then defeat him for the title. And I loved what Brody did with the championship while he had it. And then, of course, that then went to the dog power match with Cody and Brody, which was also a great match and would sadly, unfortunately, be Brody Lee's final match. But that was, in my opinion, that was probably my favorite match that they've done so far with the TNT title. Like in the history of the title, like all the matches that's been held for, I think the dog car match is by far my favorite. So then Cody then dropped the title to Darby Allin.
Mm-hmm.
And then Darby Allin, what I love what they did with Darby's run is he's been the longest reigning champion thus far. What I loved what they did with his reign is then, he was like the one of the young stars that they were looking to push. So putting the TNT title on him was also perfect because he had countless matches with Cody And then like finally he was able to finally defeat him, so that was great there. And then what I loved with Miro's reign is Miro's been also going up against a lot of young guys as well, but so he's been giving like a lot of people like opportunities. I remember he went up against Dante Martin one time and went against Brian Pillman Jr. and went against like a lot of different guys. Brian Pillman Jr. And he's gone up against like a lot of different guys. And I think it's just been great for the title. It's been great for those guys as well because they've been able to get an opportunity on Dynamite, in front of like all the fans. So I think that's been. I just love the title. I love how each of the 4 reigns have been different from the other and like how they've been booked. So that's just something I wanted to add real quickly.
And the TNT title has quickly become their workhorse title. That
Absolutely
title has elevated every holder to a completely different. Following the TNT title, was butchered. It to me it wasn't the greatest match, but I really like how they're having Moxley pretty much feud with all of Japan at this point, and I'm pretty sure it's leading to a Full Gear Moxley versus Tanahashi. Moxley went over, and then a Japan legend, Minoru Suzuki, made his presence known. What did you guys think of this match and the Suzuki Surprise?
I thought Moxley and Kojima. I thought it was a fun match. I thought it was a fun little match while it lasted. I didn't think the finish was ever in doubt. This was an easy. This is designed to be an easy win for John Moxley. And this was designed to be an easy win for John Moxley, and that's exactly what this was. But I thought this was a really fun match. Kojima, even at 50 years old, and still, Kojima, even at 50 years of age, can still go in the ring and can still put on very quality matches, and this was no different here. I really enjoyed it. And with Suzuki coming out afterwards, I popped when Suzuki came out. And I'm not going to lie. When they panned over did the Titantron, at first I thought Nick Gage was coming out. Because Moxley wore a GCW hoodie down to the ring, and Moxley, I think the night before, beat Matt Cardona to win the GCW title. Yeah, he
did.
Did win the GCW title, and then then Moxley and Gage had a stare down, and Moxley told Gage, "If you want this title, you know where to come find me." So when the music first hit, I thought it was Nick Gage coming out at first. But once I heard it a little more, I forgot Suzuki's theme song. And I forgot the name of his theme song. But when I saw Minoru Suzuki come out, I popped huge because that is a man I've wanted to come through that forbidden door forever. Suzuki is a man I've wanted in the U.S. for a long time. Suzuki has some business to handle in the U.S. And Logan Paul, not Logan Paul, and Jake Paul, if you're listening to this right now, before you hang the boots up, before you hang the boots and the boxing gloves up, Jake Paul, we need on pay-per-view at least one time Jake Paul versus Minoru Suzuki. I promise you that match should do numbers. ain't no way Jake Paul would be able to rig the system there because that would end in a Suzuki win. But it was very cool to see Minoru Suzuki come out on Dynamite. To come out, on All Out, laying out. He laid out Mox with the God Style Power Driver, and I thought the match they had on Dynamite was really fun. I thought that was a really fun match.
It was very good.
It went way too short. I wish it could have gone a few extra minutes, but for the short time they were given, I thought it was really fun. And I hope this is not the last we see of Suzuki in AEW. And in terms of Moxley,
believe it is.
Yay. And in terms of Moxley, I like the storyline of Moxley running through the New Japan guys. If that's the storyline they're going to tell, where he's going to run through the New Japan guys until he gets to Tanahashi, because that match is going to happen. I don't know when, but that match is obviously going to happen. I like it. I like the story so far. So I thought this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I thought it was a great match. I really enjoyed it. It didn't get like a ton of time, but I thought in the time that they were allotted on the card, which it was a loaded show. So finding time for everything was going to be very difficult from the get-go. But I thought it was still a great match. I really enjoyed it. And remember when people announced Moxley versus because they were expected for a while that it was going to be him versus a New Japan guy. Because that's been Moxley's thing lately. He's been, he at one point when he was IWGP US Heavyweight Champion, he defended the title on Dynamite a couple times, or a few times actually. And I remember he had the match back in May on Dynamite where he defended against Yuji Nagata.
Mm-hmm.
Then he was at the New Japan US show, the Resurgence, and he actually teamed with Yuji Nagata against the Good Brothers. So he'd been doing some New Japan stuff for a while, and he is a part of New Japan Pro Wrestling as well. It's just obviously due to the times we're in, it's been hard for him to travel over to Japan, but he still stayed involved, in some way, shape, or form. But I remember when some people had announced it was gonna, or not when people had announced, when he had announced on Dynamite that it was going to be Satoshi Kojima, some people had felt that it was kind of underwhelming, and I didn't quite understand that because Satoshi Kojima is a Japanese wrestling legend in both All Japan and New Japan, and a pro wrestling legend, period. So I had no idea why people were underwhelmed by that. Maybe they were, maybe I don't know, maybe they're hoping at that point it'd be Tanahashi, they're hoping it'd be, Okada and whatnot. But the problem is the G1's right around the corner, so there's no way they're going to miss the beginning of that due to having to travel over here and then travel back over there and whatnot. So that obviously wasn't going to be but I was excited when they announced it was going to be Satoshi Kojima, also because he had been doing some stuff in the States this year. I remember he was doing some stuff with Impact Wrestling at one point.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very much looking forward to this match, and I was not disappointed whatsoever. And I agree with Cameron, as in I thought it was pretty clear that Moxley was going to be the winner, and him and Kojima would go out there and they'd have their match, and Mox would get the win. But which he did. So I thought it was a great match. I really enjoyed it. And as far as Minoru Suzuki goes, making his surprise arrival in AEW. Yeah, that was definitely something I didn't see coming. I thought they'd just have their match, and I had the feeling, or at least I had been hoping, that Minoru Suzuki would be in AEW at some point in terms of making an appearance. I had been kind of hoping for that, for a bit, because I know that they're doing more of the New Japan US shows, and he had been announced to be on some of those. So I've been thinking about the possibilities of him being on Dynamite one of these times, or being in AEW in any way. But yeah, but I hadn't thought of it at all out. So that was definitely a surprise and a very cool moment.
And
I think he is going to be back.
I'm pretty sure Suzuki's currently a free agent as well, so there could be a chance
he's a freelancer.
Okay, and I believe at Dynamite Grand Slam, it's going to be Suzuki Gun versus Moxley and a partner of his choosing, which
Mhm.
could be pretty interesting.
Yes. No, I saw that. I saw that announced, and I was just like, because I mean, with the Forbidden Door being opened, I mean, like anything is really possible at this point. So that's obviously
Mhm.
just the beauty of it. We get all these fun matchups that we never
Yeah.
thought we'd ever get.
And following this match, it was the love of my life, Britt Baker, defending her title against Chris Statlander. I think this was one of the best women's matches since what was it called? St. Patrick's Day Slam. Britt
Yeah,
Baker and Thunder Rosa. This was a very good match. I was very impressed. I think that with Britt leading the charge for the women, their matches have stepped up quite a lot. Baker would, of course, retain her title, and her next opponent we will cover shortly. What did you guys think of the women's title match?
I thought this was. I thought the match. I thought this was a good match. No disrespect to them, but outside of Paul White versus QT Marshall, I thought this was maybe the weakest thing on the show. And that's not to say it was, and that's not to say it was bad. When you have a show, when you have a show that was as good as this was, where all the matches, where all the matches range from very good to great. You're gonna have matches that don't really stand out as much as the others, and I thought this was one here. I thought this was one of the weaker matches on the show, but that doesn't mean it was bad. Doesn't mean it was bad. I thought this was a very good match here. I thought this was a very good match here. I love Chris Statlander. Chris Statlander has a very bright future, Chris Statlander
Mhm.
has a very bright future. So I like Chris Statlander. There's a moment in the match here that I absolutely loved, that I laughed out loud at. Where you had Orange, or you had Kate, where you had what's her name? You had Chris Statlander on the outside. I think she just took a curb stomp I think she just took a curb stomp on the floor
Yeah.
from Britt Baker, and Orange Cassidy yells at Chris Statlander to get up. I absolutely loved at that part. I loved it. But
That was
I
my
thought the
favorite bump
finish.
of the whole night.
Yeah, it was, and it really was. And I thought the match was good. The right decision was made here. Chris Statlander will be AEW Women's Champion one day. I have no doubt about that. I have no doubt about that. But it wasn't her time right now. It just wasn't at her time right now. Britt Baker is the most. Britt Baker's probably the most over woman is probably the most over person in the entire company outside of CM Punk right now. Outside of CM Punk right now. Britt Baker is absolutely firing on all cylinders right now, and she should not be losing her women's championship for a long, long time. For a long,
Mhm.
long time. At least until Revolution. At least until Revolution. Revolution is when I think she should drop the title. When that happens, I think she's dropping it to Thunder Rosa. But I thought this was a very good match here, and with the right outcome.
I thought this was a really good match. I really enjoyed it, and I think I'd have to agree with I'd have to agree with Zach. I don't know why I couldn't think of the name for a second. I got lost for a second. No, I thought I'd have to agree with you, Zach. I think since that St. Patrick's Day Dynamite episode between Thunder Rose and Britt, I think this has been one of the better AEW women's matches as well. Like, not to say that there has been really good matches, of course, but this has to be, like, of course, one of the bad ones for sure. So I thought it was really good, and I'd have to agree with you, Cam, as well. That I thought this was. The moment I absolutely loved from this match is when, of course, Orange Cassidy he took off the glasses and he just tried hyping Chris Statlander to get back in the ring and just hyping her up just to beat the 10 count. And I thought that was I thought that was really cool, and that was honestly one of my favorite moments of the whole night. So that part I really much enjoyed. And of course, can't forget about the Britt hit the Pittsburgh Sunrise. That was another cool spot of the match.
I love
that was leading
that.
up towards the finish.
And
that was also
hitting that. God, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. No, I thought that was also very ironic considering what would end up happening later on in the evening, which, of course, we're ways away from that part. But
yeah,
I thought it was a really good match.
Britt hitting the Sunrise, I instantly knew, yeah, he's here. Following the women's title match was by far match of the night. The Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers for the tag team titles in a steel cage match. Now, Cam, I remember when we did the prediction show, you wanted Young Bucks to drop it at our thrash to Proud and Powerful. But that obviously changed. The Lucha Brothers are your new tag team champs. I think this was the right call. If anything, it's probably the Young Bucks versus Proud and Powerful at our thrash in a number one contenders match. Very good match. Lots of crazy spots, but they were done at the right time. It helped the story out a lot. It was one of the best tag matches since Revolution with Kenny and Hangman versus Young Bucks. My pick for match of the night. What about you guys?
I thought not only was this match of the night, I'm going to go as far to say this is match of the year. There have been a lot of great matches. There have been a lot of great matches in 2021. But I think this was the match of the year. I think this is the match of the year. I think this is going to be the match of the year in WWE. I think this is going to be the match of the year in wrestling. Excuse me, I was going to say WWE. But I think this is going to be the match of the year, period. I think it's going to be the match of the year, period, for any promotion. One thing about the Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros, they have fantastic chemistry together. These guys
Fantastic.
Oh my God, do they?
have fantastic chemistry together. I've never seen these guys have a bad match ever. You look at the TLC match from All Out to you look at the TLC match from All Out 2019. That match was freaking insane. That match is freaking insane. They did spots in that match I've never seen before in the ladder match. You look at Nick Jackson. You look at I think it was Nick Jackson versus Phoenix, and I think it was like the first. I think it was on the first or second episode of Dynamite. One of the very early episodes of Dynamite, you look at Nick Jackson and Ray Phoenix. That match was a lot of fun. You look at the Lucha Bros and the Young Bucks, the matches that they've had this year. The matches that they've had this year. These guys have fantastic chemistry together. Never a bad match. Ray Phoenix is an absolute crazy man. Ray Phoenix
He's
is
gone.
not. Ray
He's
Phoenix
gone.
is. Yeah, Ray Phoenix is not human. I am convinced of this. There is no man that should be able to move around and do the stuff Ray Phoenix does. Ray Phoenix is like Ricochet on Ray Phoenix is like Ricochet on steroids. Ricochet can do a lot of stuff people can't do. I might have to put Ray Phoenix above Ricochet in that high flying category in terms of who's the best high flyer in wrestling right now. I think it might have to be Ray Phoenix.
It's Phoenix.
This match is absolutely insane. This match is absolutely insane. I love the spot, and I'm watching this show in the movie. I'm watching this show in the movie theater. I watched the show in the movie theater. So when the Young Bucks got the bat and got the shoes that had the thumbtacks on them, everybody in the theater was like, "Oh my God." That thing looked absolutely dangerous. That thing looked absolutely sick. I thought that was great. I thought that was absolutely great. I love the finish. I thought Ray Phoenix was going to do something crazy off the cage. I thought for a minute that we were going to get the spot from TNA 2004 where Elix Skipper tightrope walked the cage and delivered a Hurricane Rana to one of the members of America's Most Wanted off top of the cage. I thought for sure we were going to get that. If not, I thought we were getting a Canadian Destroyer off the top of the cage. I'm happy we did not get a Canadian Destroyer off the top of the cage. I'm happy we did not get a Canadian Destroyer off the top of the cage. But that match was just absolutely fantastic. I loved the finish of it. And the Lucha Bros winning the tag team titles were the absolute right decision. They had to win the tag team titles. They just had to. I think they had to win the tag team titles. They've had so many shots at the tag team titles, and it gets to a point where you get shot after shot after shot after shot after shot, and if you can't ever win it, I think it really hurts. I think it really hurts you in turn. I think it really hurts you, and it really hurts your credibility. Look at Braun Strowman, for example. He had shot after shot after shot after shot after shot to win the Universal title. When he finally won it, when he finally won it, it was a cool moment, but nobody cared. But nobody cared. I think it was going to be the same situation with the Lucha Bros here. So I'm happy the Lucha Bros won the tag team titles here. I hope they don't drop those titles in 2 weeks. I hope they don't drop those titles at the Arthur Ashe Stadium show because the Lucha Bros deserve more than 2 weeks with the tag team titles. But I love this match. This was a match of the year, match of the night. And I think, and this is just me here, I think this overtakes the Bucks against Kenny and Hangman from Revolution 2020. It's the best tag team match in AEW history. I think this match topped it.
Where do I even begin with this? There's so many great things to say. Like, I'm with Cameron. This is obviously the match of the night. I'm with everyone, actually. I'm with you too, Zach. I think this was obviously the match of the night, and it honestly could. If it's not the match of the year, it is certainly in the conversation for the match of the year, and by far one of the very best matches in the history of AEW. I think the Young Bucks versus Kenny and Hangman Page at Revolution 2020. That for me personally was the best match in AEW history thus far, and this definitely contends up there with it. There were two different style of matches, of course, but I thought They're both great in their own way. But this match was off the charts. The Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers are my two favorite tag teams. So this is like obviously a perfect scenario for me. And of course, 2 years ago at All Out, their chemistry, as also mentioned, their chemistry is just out of this world. So it's like impossible for them to have a bad match. I mean, like they had the first match at in AEW between them. They had the match at Double or Nothing, the first ever show in 2019, which I thought even then that was great. Then of course they had the match at All Out 2 years ago, the Escalera de la Muerte, the ladder match of death, which essentially like a TLC style match. They had that, which I thought that was insane. They're one of the best matches in AEW history. And then the steel cage match. This was off the charts. And Ray Phoenix also agreed the best high flyer in wrestling now, and I think is the most outstanding wrestler right now. He's one of the best in the world, but he's definitely the most outstanding wrestler in terms of like he just does these moves that are just out of this world and just never ceases to amaze me. And of course, I'm a big Penta El Cerro Miedo fan as well. So yeah, this is just a perfect match for me. Love the Bucks, love the Lucha Bros. I'm very happy that they finally won the tag team titles. So I remember I wanted them to be the first AEW tag team champions, which of course ended up being Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian and SCU, which obviously there was nothing wrong with that decision. Actually, in a way, it was good because they, put it on someone that probably wasn't, expected to be the first champion. So in a way, that was good. But I've wanted the Lucha Brothers to be tag team champions since the very start of AEW, so I'm very happy that they were finally able to win it. I cringed when they first brought out the sneaker with thumbtacks on the bottom, because that was not something I was expecting to see in this match, and I knew there was about to be some cringeworthy moments in the match, just in terms of how violent things were going to be. And when I also I didn't think so much of the Elix Skipper spot, which I do know exactly what we're talking about. That was Elix Skipper and Christopher Daniels versus AMW, I believe, from TNA 2004. That match is from?
Yeah, America's Most Wanted, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it was. Because I know that's exactly what you're talking about. But the one thing I did think they were going to do for a split second was that Canadian Destroyer off the top, which I'm very glad they did neither one of those as well, because off the top of a cage, it's one thing to do it off the top of the ladder like they did in the the match in All Out 2 years ago. It's one thing to do that, and that was brutal through the table, but off a cage, there's nothing to break their falls. You just got to hope that, I don't know. You got two other guys in the ring, but even then, you can't really, to catch that kind of impact coming from that high up, that'd be pretty difficult to do, and it'd be way too dangerous to even try. But yeah, I thought this was a phenomenal match. I absolutely loved it. I'm very happy the Lucha Bros are the tag team champions. And I'm interested to see where the Young Bucks go from here. There's AEW to me is the best tag team division in professional wrestling as we speak. So there's a lot of endless possibilities.
I 100% agree. Their tag teams are absolutely insane. I'm waiting for Jurassic Express to finally win those titles.
Oh, I am too. Jurassic
Express.
I am too. Jurassic Express is my favorite tag team in AEW. Jungle Boy is one of my favorite stars in the company, period. It goes Mox, Play, Hangman, and then Jungle Boy. I love me some Jungle Boy. Man.
Yeah, I'm a huge Jungle Boy fan as well. I love Jurassic Express. I love that. I love that pairing.
Moving on to the Casino Battle Royale, which I just want to add in. this style is so much better than the Royal Rumble. Ruby Soho, who I popped crazy for, made her debut as the Joker, last eliminating Thunder Rosa, and she is the next challenger to Britt Baker. I see in about a year, Ruby Soho will be one of the, if not the biggest draw for them. She was extremely over the minute her theme song hit. Very glad she won. I believe that's the first time a Joker has won the casino match. Very solid match. What was your opinions?
I thought this was a very fun. I thought this was a very fun battle royal. I thought this was a very fun battle royal. But all I gotta say is this: Thunder Rosa, I gotta buy a T-shirt from you because you eliminated Nyla Rose, and because you eliminated Nyla Rose and Nyla Rose and Nyla Rose and Jay Cargill took Julia Hart out this match, which was very. Yeah, I was very sad about this man. You know, Julia Hart was about to go. Julia Hart was about to go on to win the entire thing, and she would have been facing Britt Baker. But you know, they had to get rid of the competition. So Thunder Rosa, I owe you a T-shirt. But in all seriousness, though, I thought this. But in all seriousness, though, I thought this was a very fun match. You know, I thought this was a very fun battle royal. First, I thought this was a very fun battle royal. Riho is the rightful number one contender as far as I'm concerned. She never got eliminated from the battle royal. Technically, she did not go over the top rope. She went over the bottom rope. So Riho did not get. So Riho never was eliminated. But outside of that, I thought this was a very fun match. I loved I loved Ruby Soho coming out as the Joker, and you know the crowd. I thought it was cool that the crowd was literally chanting Ruby Soho before she even came out there. When she came out, she got a great. You know, when she came out, she got a great reaction. When she came out, she got a great reaction, and I'm happy Ruby Soho was in AEW. You know, I think she got a raw deal over there in WWE. You know, she was getting a little bit of a push for a while. She was getting a little bit of a push for a while. She seemed to be very prominently featured for a little while, for like the first year, and then she got injured, and she was never really able to recapture that match in WWE. It seems like they gave up on her. But I'm glad Ruby Soho is in AEW. She has a lot to offer that women's division, and I think she can be a player there. So I'm very happy for her. You know, so I'm very happy for her. Jade Cargill looked like $1 million in this match. I thought she had a great showing. In this match here. And yeah, I thought this was very fun. I thought this was very fun.
Yeah, I thought this was a fun casino battle royale as well. I thought it was good. I've noticed that like one of the complaints that some people have had with just the casino battle royal or royale in general is they just feel that it's like rushed a lot of the time, because you know it is every few minutes they bring out more people, and then they bring out 5 different wrestlers at a time. So I know some people have had complaints about that, with the gauntlet style, battle royals and whatnot. But I thought this one was good. I definitely think Ruby Soho being Joker was the perfect choice, and I think that really helped put the match over for me, because I like the stuff that they did with her and Thunder Rose at the end. I thought that was the perfect final 2 people are left in the match. So I thought that was done well. But just the reaction she got, the crowd was really happy to see her, and just And having her win was also the perfect decision as well because I did my predictions heading in, and I almost would have been a perfect 100% on my predictions had I went with my original choice for this, which would have been the Joker. Because, as pointed out by Zach, you're right that there actually hasn't been a Joker to win either the Casino Battle Royale or the Women's Casino Battle Royale. Because the first one, well, actually for the women's one there hasn't. The Joker the first time, the men's one actually. Oh yeah, Hangman won. That's what it was. Yeah, there hasn't been a winner for the women's one yet. So that was cool. And yeah, I thought this was done very well because what I mean with my predictions is I originally was going to go with the Joker, and then I ended up changing my mind to Thunder Rosa, and I would have been right on my predictions 100% if I stuck to my original prediction, which was the Joker. But yeah, it's all fine. I mean, the perfect option one, which is Ruby Soho. That was the right decision.
I agree. Very glad she's in a place where she can be her, and she's going to be a major player really soon, and I'm very very happy for her. After the casino match was the could have been the retirement of Jericho. It was Chris versus MJF from a storyline standpoint, storytelling, crowd reaction, the MJF winning, but Jericho's foot was on the ropes. The restarting, when done right like that, a match restart it's very rare that it works. And this is a perfect example of a restart working. Very solid match. Glad Jericho won, but I have no clue what's next for him.
I thought the match itself was fine. I thought the match itself was fine. To be honest with you, out of everything on the show, this is probably the match I paid attention to the least. This is probably the match I paid attention to the least. But I thought the match itself. I thought the match itself was pretty good. I thought the match itself was pretty good, and I said this. I spoke to Zach about this in the predictions video. I was pretty vocal about it on Twitter too. I do not understand why AEW added the retirement stipulation to this match. I really don't. As soon as they added the retirement stipulation to it, I was like, well, Chris Jericho is winning. Because I don't think Chris Jericho is done. Because I don't think Chris Jericho is done wrestling. And it turned out to be, not turned out to be right as Jericho got the win here. I still think this should have just been Jericho versus MJF in the fifth labor, because I really do think MJF could have used a win here. It's not like a loss is going to kill MJF. At this point, MJF is bulletproof. If he loses one or two matches, it's not going to. Now, if he loses one or two matches, he'll be fine. If he loses one or two matches, he'll be fine. But this was classic. This was classic. But this was a classic wrestling storyline. This was classic wrestling storytelling, where the babyface is so desperate to get a win over the heel that the babyface literally puts everything he can on the line at this point. And at this point, he literally put his career on the line. And he literally put his career on the line, and it ended with the Jericho win. I thought the MJF entrance was fantastic. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna lie. He got me with the entrance. When they were doing the countdown. When they were doing the countdown, I was like, okay, we're going retro with it tonight. MJF came out. I felt like such an idiot. He got me with that entrance. I thought the entrance was honestly the best thing about the entire match. But good match. Jericho winning. I expected it because I didn't think this was Jericho's last match. But MJF will be fine. It's not like MJF loses and he's spared all the time. MJF will be perfect.
Yeah, I thought this was a really good match. I enjoyed it. I mean, I guess the one thing that was unclear heading in for me is like they would say that if Jericho loses, he will no longer be able to wrestle in AEW, and like his AEW career, I guess, will be done. But then there was another side where it's like if he loses, he'll have to retire, and like his wrestling career is over. So like they kept going back and forth on like which one it was, and like I guess going in like on this show, like I heard throughout the night, they said he wouldn't be able to wrestle ever again in AEW. So I thought that part was a little unclear. So I couldn't quite figure. I mean, either way, it wouldn't, like it wouldn't make sense, I guess, for him to lose because I don't think he's done yet. And I guess like if he doesn't wrestle in AEW, I don't see him ever wrestling again in WWE, and I think he's even said that he's not going to. I mean, he did, yeah. So that part, that kind of made me think that he had a one, but at the same time, I guess I didn't know for sure just because I didn't know if they wanted MJF to lose or whatnot. But overall, I thought it was a really good match. I thought both guys did well, and I thought that even like both guys actually busted out some moves that they usually wouldn't do either. I remember MJF did a springboard moonsault to the outside, didn't connect with Jericho. He moved out of the way, but just like that, he even attempted that. I mean, that's something you usually wouldn't see him do like often during his matches. And then I remember Jericho would even do some vintage Jericho moves and like that. So he was pulling out all the stops. So I thought that part was very cool. As far as finish goes, where it would look like MJF was going to win because Aubrey counted the pin. With Jericho's foot was on the rope, which wasn't seen. I saw that was hit and miss for some people. Thought it was fine because then they restarted the match and at least the crowd was happy about it. So I didn't think that part was too bad. The thing that did surprise me though is Jericho winning just hitting the juice effect and straight up pinning him. To me, that would have been completely, not too far off. But the fact that he made MJF submit. That was something I wasn't expecting to see.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a shocker. It doesn't damage him. Like MJF to me is the best heel in wrestling today. So I mean, and he's still so young. I don't think this loss necessarily hurts him in any real way. But I don't know if I would have had him submit. I thought just Jericho hitting the juice effect out of nowhere, or whatever, and getting the pin. I thought that would have popped the crowd and. Thought that would have worked as well, but I mean, still, I thought it was a really good match, and that's I guess where my thoughts on that.
There is solid match. Moving on from that, after 7 years, the in-ring return of CM Punk versus Darby Allin, it was obvious that Punk was gonna win. The match was good. It could have been better, but even in this loss, Darby is he's not being hurt at all. He can afford a loss. CM Punk put him over in promos, and he went over on him in this match. Punk, once he gets used to it again, he's going to be putting on classic matches. This match is very good.
Zach, you there?
Yeah.
CM Punk versus Darby Allin. I thought this was everything. I thought this was everything that it needed to be. To be quite honest with you, this was a very good match. CM Punk's first match back in 7 years. It looks like CM Punk never left. It looks like CM Punk in the ring. It looks like CM Punk in the ring has never left. It looks like CM Punk in the ring has never left. CM Punk is absolutely fantastic, and Darby Allin is absolutely great too. Darby Allin is absolutely great too. Darby Allin, in 2023, I believe will be the AEW World Champion. I have no doubt in my mind about that. Darby Allin is great, and Darby Allin delivers every time he's in the ring. But CM Punk's first match back in 7 years, you could not have CM Punk's first match back in 7 years in Chicago and expect anything less than a CM Punk win. Punk's first match back, Punk had to win. Punk's first match back, Punk had to win. And so he won in Chicago, as rightfully so. This match was great. This match was great, but Darby loses absolutely nothing from it. Darby loses nothing from losing here, and if you ask me, I think Darby losing did more harm than good, because this match showed that Darby Allin could hang with the top stars as we've seen him do. He went in there and he hung with CM Punk, and he took CM Punk to the limit in Punk's first match back. So Darby Allin loses absolutely nothing from this here. Great match. This was a great match here, and I loved it. I absolutely loved this match.
CM Punk's return to the ring after 7 long years. I thought this was a big home run. I thought this match was great. I thought it was everything that it needed to be, and I was very happy with it when it was all said and done. I think Darby Allin was the perfect opponent for him to face in his first match back in 7 years. I thought that because they needed a guy that was like Darby Allin, I'd say, is one of their top guys. I mean, they put him in countless main events, and a lot of the main events he's been in have actually been some of their highest rated shows. So the guy is definitely popular and definitely a difference maker. So I thought that was perfect. But they needed a guy that was an established one of their top guys, but that he could defeat, that being Punk, and wouldn't do any harm in the process, which this match they're very successful in doing with this match. So I thought the match was great. I thought Punk did very, very well. It looked like he hasn't lost a step in. A small note that I thought was interesting going in is during his entrance when he first came out, and I noticed he was sporting the tights and not the trunks. He had tights this time, which I'd never seen him wear before when wrestling a match. I thought that was different. But he looked very good. I thought some of the spots this match were great. Both were selling and taking bumps, especially that one bump that Darby took when Punk sent him into the corner, where he Irish whipped him to the corner, and then he took that bump where his back hit the post and he fell out of the ring.
Yeah, that looked nasty.
God.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and you could just hear the impact when he had thrown him into that corner. So I thought that was a tough bump. And then the other thing I liked is I liked how Sting prior to the match came out and he just fist bumped Darby. He's like, I'm not gonna involve here. We're gonna have ourselves like a fair fight, and they did just that. And then when it was all said and done, he came back out there. He shook hands with CM Punk. Punk shook hands with Darby, and I thought that was just perfect because he was able to show the sign of respect. The two top baby faces, of course. And the other thing I also liked during the match is there was at one point a dual chant of "Let's go Darby, CM Punk." Now when I went with the CM Punk chant, it was obviously louder because it was hometown. And, that's his. Yeah, that's his hometown and whatnot. But I thought that was still cool because it showed that the crowd still liked Darby, and that like he's still popular when even going against like a guy like CM Punk with his first match being back in Chicago. So I thought that part was very cool as well. So that shows you that like even when he's like not the favorite in the match, that he's still over with the audience. So that's great stuff right there.
Oh, I will say this. I'm sorry, Cameron. Go ahead.
Oh no! Go ahead. Actually,
I was just gonna say about Darby Allin. I will say this. I went to AEW Fight for the Fallen. I went to AEW Fight for the Fallen back in July. One thing I noticed there, a lot of kids that were there had their face painted just like Darby Allin. So Darby Allin has got something. Darby Allin has something there. Darby Allin has something there.
Yeah, I also had the opportunity to see AEW live a few weeks ago. Actually, I was at the Dynamite in Pittsburgh, and I was also at the first episode of Rampage.
Oh, nice.
So that was pretty cool. So as far as CM Punk goes in AEW, you can already tell he's being a difference maker. I mean, ticket sales have been higher. I mean, they sold out the. Why am I drawing a blank? They sold out the United Center. I don't know why. I was drawing a blank. I'm a big NBA fan. Chicago Bulls. I mean, like I know the name of like all the arenas. I was trying to blank, but they sold that arena out and they didn't even announce he was going to be there. Like people knew he was going to be there, and it was speculated he was going to be there, but like they didn't even announce he was going to be there. But just because they thought he was going to be there, or speculated he was going to be there, they sold that building out just off of that without even like actually confirming that he was going to be there. So I mean that shows you his impact right there. And doing it in Chicago, that was the perfect place for not only for him to make his return, but for him to make his first match back in 7 years. So this whole entire run so far has been perfect. I've loved every segment he's been involved in. I loved all the promos he's cut, and this first match was a major success. So I look forward to many more great things coming from CM Punk and AEW.
You two rubbing in the fact that you've both been to AEW shows.
Aren't you going to the Dynamite show in Virginia, Zach?
I'm going to the one in Virginia November 17th. Can't bloody wait. Anyway, now we cover the weakest match on the card, and the only match that I don't really have anything to say about it. Paul White versus QT Marshall. Paul White won. That's really all I have to say on that.
Paul White against Quality Television, Marshall. For your information, Zach, I will not allow you to come on this review and disrespect Quality Television, Marshall, like that. This show did 200,000 buys with Quality Television, Marshall in the pay-per-view main event, biggest show of AEW's entire history. QT Marshall is in the main event, so that proves that man is a draw. But in all seriousness, though, this was the. But in all seriousness, though, this is for the. But in all seriousness, though, this is the popcorn match. This was the popcorn. This is the popcorn match here. This is a match just thrown on the show. This is a match just thrown on the show. Paul White has it. Big Show. I'm just calling him Big Show. I'm used to Big Show. Fuck Paul White. I'm just calling him Big Show. I'm just calling him Big Show. Big Show has it. Big Show has it in his AEW contract that he will wrestle matches for AEW. He has that in his contract. So him wrestling here, I didn't complain because I knew it was going to happen. But him beating QT Marshall was the right choice. QT Marshall, look. I might say QT Marshall's staying on here, but if I'm being realistic, QT Marshall is not going anywhere. QT Marshall is not going anywhere. If Big Show is going to be beating anybody in AEW, he should be beating QT Marshall. He should be beating QT Marshall. QT was the perfect opponent for him in that sense. This is an easy win for Big Show. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm hoping, I don't know about you guys, but I'm hoping Big Show, but I'm hoping this Big Show QT feud continues. Not for another match, but I'm hoping this continues with QT Marshall bringing out Shaq to face Big Show. Because I do think Shaq versus Big Show is still, because I do think Shaq versus Big Show is a big match for AEW to do. Instead of putting it on pay-per-view, instead of putting it on pay-per-view, put this match on Dynamite. Do Big Show versus Shaq, put it on Dynamite, do it on Dynamite and pop a rating. So it can pop a rating. I thought this was everything it needed to be. It didn't overstay his welcome, and Big Show got an easy win because Big Show is going to be wrestling. He should not be beating any of the newer challenge. Mattel.
Before I get into the match, I'm going to also say that I agree that don't do Big C. I'm so used to calling him Big Show still. Like when I was at the show in Pittsburgh, because before they do Dynamite, they were obviously they were taping AEW Dark Elevation, and they had brought him out to do commentary with Tony and whatnot. And even when he came out, because I was there for the first segment he did with QT Marshall and the Factory, like when he hit the cutter on Tony Schiavone's son when they did that segment. I was there for that, and people were yelling out, they're like, "Show!" So people are still used to calling him Big Show. I mean, that's what we've known him as, the majority of his career. Like at no point was he really Paul White outside of when he debuted in the WWF, and they called him Paul White just because they didn't have a name for him. But yeah, so I'm still trying to get used to that. But I do agree with Hugh Cam that I think they should do the Shaq match, which, I mean, they've got to do it. I think they should do that on Dynamite and try to pop a big rating rather than doing it on pay-per-view, because I think it would have a more direct effect on the ratings, like if they did it on TV instead of like if they did it on a pay-per-view. Not that it wouldn't have an effect on pay-per-view, but I think it'd be way easier to get people to tune in on to the show on TNT with Shaq's on Inside the NBA on TNT. The connection there. I think it'd be much better to try to pop a rating that way rather than try to, get people to convert over and, buy the pay-per-view. So I think it'd be easier it'd have a much bigger impact if they just did it on Dynamite and TNT instead. So I agree with that as well. As far as the match goes, it was very brief. It was very short. And I mean, to me, even if it was the weakest match on the card, I really have nothing bad to say about it, because to me, they did it honestly, in the way they probably should have, which, it was quick, it was short. They try to play the numbers game going in, and they try to put Paul White at a disadvantage. Nick Comoroto and Aaron Solo were trying to get involved at certain points in the match, but honestly, I thought the way they did it was fine. Made Paul White look strong. He got the win, which was obviously the correct decision. And I thought that I thought that what they did with it was, I guess, fine. I mean, like as I said, it wasn't like the best match in the world or anything, or maybe it was the weakest match in the card. But I thought for what was there, I mean, they did what they should, and it's going to be very interesting seeing what he does going forward. In terms of like his stuff in the ring in AEW. Honestly, like of all the guys they've been able to sign, I mean, they've been able to sign some huge names, but Paul White, honestly, to me, uh, in some ways, like it's crazy to say this, but in some ways, to me, that was one of the most shocking signings they've made. Just because I thought that guy was a WWE lifer.
I
But
did
I did
too,
not
man.
see him.
I did too, man. My God, I was so shocked by that, man. I remember I was asleep. I woke up. I remember I was asleep. I woke up and like my phone is just blowing up. Like they got Big Show. I'm like, what? That's all. Like I look at, so I go on Twitter and it's like Paul White is all elite. And like I had to check the account to make sure it's the actual AEW account. I was like, what the
Right.
heck?
I
I was
was
like, what the hell?
I was hyped as hell.
And then they got him. I was like, and then they got him, and I was just sitting there thinking, how the hell did Tony Khan get Big Show? I was like, I thought that man was a lifer. I thought that man was a lifer in WWE. I thought he was going nowhere.
Yeah, no, when he pulled off that move and like when he got Paul White to go there, because I'm with you too. Like I had to like double check to make sure this was like verified accounts posting this and it wasn't just some meme. Because when I saw Paul White, like, I had to check to make sure it was like a actual like AEW like account that was posting this, or like make sure there was like actual like credible news sources that were posting it. Because like for all I know, like it could just be like some meme. Because how like you get those memes every now and then where it says so and so is all elite. Like they could be currently signed to some other promotion, but they'll give them like they could be in WWE, but they'll like put some meme of some random person, but they'll have like a different name because they can't use the WWE name like in AEW or whatever. I thought that could be the case, but then I actually saw that and I was just shocked. Like I literally texted like all of my friends who were wrestling fans about it, and like it was just a shocking day. It was actually at that moment that I thought it was actually at that moment that I thought that they might be able to get some other people, like some of the bigger names you're able to get down the road. Because I'm like, if they could get a WWE like lifer like that, or something like if they could do that, then I don't see how anyone could doubt Tony Khan's abilities.
Tony Khan has got it at this point. He's assembling one of the best rosters in a long ass time.
This might be the best talent roster of all time in terms of like, it might not have as many big names. I'm not saying it's as big as the Attitude Era, WWE 2002, where WWE 2002 was just ridiculously stacked. You had Hogan, Austin, Rock, Undertaker, Jericho, Triple H. Shawn Michaels came back. Yeah, Kurt Angle. Shawn Michaels came back. Yeah, Kurt Angle, Rob Van Dam, Benoit. Brock Lesnar, who was on his way up. Christian, Eddie Guerrero, Ric Flair. So like WWE 2002 was like insanely loaded with talent. I think this might rival 2002, man. When you look at the roster that they've assembled, Punk, Brian, Christian, Jungle Boy, the Lucha
Miro.
Bros, the Young Bucks, Miro, Kenny, Cody, Malachi Black, Andrade, Daniel Bryan,
Adam Cole, baby.
Daniel Bryan, Adam Cole. This might rival 2002 WWE. Man. This talent roster is absolutely insane. And if you would have told me 3 years ago that there's going to be a wrestling promotion in North America that is going to be on TNT and it's going to get all these big names, I would have told you to put the crack pipe down. I would have told you to put whatever you were smoking down. But this is just but the fact that this reality has been absolutely insane so far. It's just absolutely unreal. This talent roster is unreal. This is what TNA This is what TNA should have been back in 2006. You remember the TNA talent roster? They had a very talented roster. This is what TNA should have been. This is what we all thought TNA was going to be. This roster
Couldn't
is
agree
incredible.
more. Couldn't agree more.
It is now time for the main event. The best bout machine, the cleaner, Kenny Omega versus one of the most underrated greatest of all time, Christian Cage, for the AEW World Title. This was a perfect main event. The right man went over, especially if rumor is true that Hangman is taking the title off him at Full Gear. But the ending of this match and the segment after that was, to me, what really made this one of the best pay-per-views in a long time.
Yeah. I'm in agreement with you, man. I'm in agreement with you. First off, I thought Kenny and Christian was. I thought this was an excellent match. I thought this was a great main event. They had a great match on Rampage. Their first episode of Rampage. That was a great match. I thought this was. I thought this was no different. I thought this was a great match. And watching the match, I kind of had to remember that I wasn't watching WWE, because when they did the spot where Kenny put Christian through where he stomped he did a double foot stop on Christian Cage through a table. At first I was like, wait a minute, isn't that a DQ? But then I had to remember that I wasn't watching WWE. And in WWE, that almost I guarantee you in WWE, I guarantee you that would have been a DQ. That would have been a DQ. But I had to remember, that I wasn't watching that. I thought this was I thought the match itself was great. I thought it was really good. It is absolutely crazy to me that in the year 2021, both Edge and Christian are back wrestling for. Both Edge and Christian are back wrestling, and it's like they've never ever left. No ring rust with them. No, these guys might.
Christian got much better though, which is very weird.
I know Christian is.
Christian's like the best. He's like as good as he ever was.
Exactly. He's like 47, 48 years old, and it's just like absolutely. It's just absolutely incredible, man. The fact that him and Edge are putting together some of the best matches all year for their respective promotions is just absolutely incredible. Christian is absolutely incredible. Christian has been on fire in AEW. The dude cannot have a bad match. I thought this was no different. I thought this was no different. I thought this was a really good match here. Not a really good match. I thought this was an excellent match here. Excuse me. And I like the finish with Kenny Omega delivering the one-winged angel off the top rope. I don't think I've ever seen Kenny do that before, and so I thought that was I thought this was a nice. I thought this was a nice touch, and so I thought that was a nice touch for Kenny to get the win there. And I thought the finish, and I thought the way the pay-per-view went off the air was hot. I thought they went off the air in a really hot way because it got leaked. It got leaked that Daniel Bryan was coming in to AEW. First off, I just want to say Bryan coming to AEW shocked me because much like Jericho, much like Big Show, I thought Bryan was a lifer in WWE. I really did. I thought he would have no reason to leave, and I thought he would be, and I thought he would spend. And I thought he would retire after the match with Reigns. After the match with Reigns, But after the match with Reigns, first off, Daniel Bryan literally went from the WrestleMania main event, which is WWE's biggest show of the year, to appearing in the main event of All Out, AEW's biggest show of the year. So absolutely incredible there. But I thought they went off the air hot with Adam Cole, which I did not see coming. I did not see Adam Cole coming out at all.
I almost fell off the couch. I was so excited.
I did too. I thought he was coming in. I thought Adam Cole was coming in. I just did not expect them to debut Adam Cole. I just did not expect them to debut Adam Cole at All Out and Daniel Bryan. And then Daniel Bryan came out. I thought that was great. I love the tease of when Adam Cole came out. I love that he was going to tease going after Omega, but he realigned with them after all. I thought that was great. And I thought Bryan coming out was fantastic too. And I thought Bryan coming out was fantastic too. So one of the best endings to a pay-per-view in a long, long time. This might be the best wrestling pay-per-view in the past 5 years.
It's got
in the last 5 years. I can only put a takeover show over. I can only put a takeover show over what we saw last Sunday. I'm talking takeover New York, takeover New Orleans. Even then, I think this. Even then, I think this show tops all of them. AEW hit a home run. They had to. AEW had to hit an absolute home run here. This is the most interested people had ever been in the product with CM Punk coming back. And I thought they hit a home run. I thought they hit an absolute banger. I thought they hit a home run. I thought they hit a home run. I thought they hit an absolute banger. This was an incredible show, incredible main event. Hats off to everybody involved. Tony Khan, hats off to everybody involved. Tony Khan, you welcome to the cookout, my brother. Anytime you in town, we're going to get the grill started and you welcome. You get a free invite in. This show is absolutely amazing.
A lot to unpack. I guess going back to the Edge and Christian thing and how they've been able to, set these great matches for both their respective promotions throughout the course of this year. One crazy thing that I came across today on Twitter that I actually never even thought of before, but it makes perfect sense and it's definitely worth mentioning. Edge this year was in the main event of WrestleMania on the second night in triple threat for the Universal title. So he headlined WrestleMania, and Christian headlined All Out for AEW. So they both were in the main event of both of their companies' biggest events of the year. So I thought that was a cool little stat. So as far as Christian Cage goes, I think he's back on honestly at the top of his game. I mean, he's had countless matches. He's also the Impact World Champion again, so he's doing some cool things over in Impact again, which is awesome to see. I mean, I never thought in 2021 that we'd ever get to the point. Obviously, I never thought we'd see either Edge or Christian wrestle again. But I guess as far as Christian goes, I sure if he did come back to wrestling, once Edge came back, the talk was well, can he ever come back? And then he did back in January at the Rumble. At that point, I never thought that, I didn't think he was going to be in AEW. I thought that guy was going to be in WWE.
I did too. I did too. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I did too. When they put him in the Rumble, and I saw all these rumors of, and I saw people speculating on who the mystery guy at Revolution is going to be. I threw Christian Cage out the window. I threw Christian out the window because I didn't expect it. I thought he was under a WWE contract. I was like, okay. Well, well, okay, he's back, so he obviously must have signed a WWE contract. I thought he was under a Legends deal. I was like, okay, he's back. I'm surely WWE wouldn't put him in the Rumble and not have him signed to a contract. But no, they put him in the Rumble and then he dipped. So I was like, wow. So I was like, that shocked the hell out of me.
Yeah. No, that surprised me too. That was another move that was totally surprising. But I didn't think he was going to be in AEW, and I sure didn't think in 2021 I'd sit here today with Christian Cage also being the Impact World Champion. What a world. honestly, for me in 2021, this has honestly been like in a lot of ways like my best year ever as a pro wrestling fan because there's just so many things to watch. Like it's never boring. Like there's just like so many great like there's so many promotions to watch and like there's just always like wrestling out there. So it's just great. Like even the independent scene, like it's just such a great time to be a wrestling fan.
I agree wholeheartedly. This is the greatest time to be a professional wrestling fan, and AEW is at the very top of their game week in and week out. They're insane, absolutely insane.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like just what they're able to do week in and week out to me is just amazing. And like the fact they've been able to be this. I mean, they're the best product out there right now. I'm a New Japan fan, and I like Impact, and I like Ring of Honor, and I'm just an all around wrestling fan as a whole. And I mean, but to me, they're like the best product out there by far. But getting into the match, I thought it was an excellent main event match. I had the privilege of seeing their first encounter at that first episode of Rampage in Pittsburgh. I thought that was a great match then. That's honestly quite possibly actually, it very well probably could have been the best match I've ever gotten to see live in person. So that's definitely saying something. And so I was looking forward to this rematch here. And I also thought heading in it was smart that they had Christian pin Kenny for the Impact World title because it gave him that extra added momentum in going to the pay-per-view because by beating him for the Impact World title, he took one of his world titles. So that gave him some momentum going in. And that proved that he could beat him going in. Not that he would beat him, but it showed that he could beat him going in. So I thought that was a very smart way of going about it. And I thought the match once again was excellent. That one spot where Kenny did this stomp on the Christian cage when he had the table placed on him and which broke the table. I thought that was a crazy spot. There was also a spot where Christian speared Kenny off the apron through the table. And of course, there was the finish, which was the one winged angel off the top for the pin, where Kenny would retain the title. Thought that was great. Thought it was a perfect match to be the main event of All Out. As it turned out, I thought it was the perfect match to be the main event. I did think heading in though, however, I thought that Punk and Darby Allin actually was going to be the main event.
I did too.
Mm-hmm.
I did too. When I saw that they were closing with when I heard when Meltzer reported that they were closing with Cage and Omega, I was like, okay, something major is going to happen after the main event, because if not, I thought it would have been a massive mistake to not headline with CM Punk's first match in Chicago. But they obviously did have something major planned, so this was the right decision. So I thought this was the right decision.
Yeah, so I agree there as well. Like I thought in this case, because definitely with how they ended it, and like with the two big names they were to bring out following, like there's no way this could not be the main event. But yeah, but like heading in, I totally thought it was going to be Punk and Darby. But I also think obviously we said that we thought the steel cage match with the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks was the match of the night. I will go as far as to say I thought this was the second best match of the night.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, of course.
So I thought this was a great way to cap off the pay-per-view. Then of course, after the match, the beatdown on Christian Cage would continue. Then out would come Jurassic Express. They try to look to even the odds, but then the Elite would still be able to fight him off. And then Kenny would grab the microphone. And then which would then transition to the lights going out, and then out would come Adam Cole. And then he'd come down to the ring, and then it looked for a second that he was looking to confront the Elite. And then he would hit the super kick on Jungle Boy, and then he would reveal that he was once again aligned with the Elite, and then Kenny would look to send the fans home, and then next thing you know, the music would hit, and out would come one Bryan Danielson, which I thought when we grabbed the microphone and with how the show was ending, I thought that was initially who they were going to bring out was Bryan Danielson, because there was, of course, reports that he was going to debut there. But when they brought out Adam Cole, definitely did not see that coming. Like I got the impression that he was going to AEW. I think after a while that became quite apparent, at least for me. But I just didn't think we'd get him on that night, and I sure never thought we'd get Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson debuting in the same night. I definitely did not see that coming.
Yeah, I didn't either. I didn't either. This is an incredible show. I don't know what else. I don't know what else more I can say about it. This show was just incredible.
I honestly gave this show like a 10 out of 10. Like, I mean, not for nothing. Well. Like, I mean, like, and I rarely ever do that. Like, I'm very specific when I give a show like my final like overall rating. Like, I'm very specific. Like, I look at every single match, I look at every segment, I look at just the overall feel and how like everything is. Like, and I was like, outside of like as you said, Cam, with like some of those NXT Takeover shows, like with NXT Takeover New York City in 2019, and like NXT Takeover New Orleans in 2018. Yeah, outside of like those shows, like this, like, and I'd probably like in terms of like the quality of the wrestling, those shows were on quite some level. Like especially those to me are the two best takeovers right there, New Orleans and New York City. To me, those were the two best in terms of like the matches. Like every match on there was like, especially in New York City, like every match on there was like a great show. But honestly, in this way, like in terms of like this, honestly might be the best pay per view in a lot. Honestly, in a lot of ways, it might have been the best pay per view I've ever seen. I'd say a lot because I've seen many, of course, in my time as a wrestling fan. But this, I don't know. It was just a very special night. It was just everything was just clicking. Like everything they did just made sense. It felt right, and I just can't say enough good things about it. It was just a wonderful show, and they definitely set the bar high. And it's going to be very interesting to see where they go going forward. Because I don't think there's been a bad AEW pay per view yet. I think they've all been good. So of course, some obviously way better than others. But yeah, this was something else, and it's going to be. And now that they actually have Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole, it's going to be very interesting to see where they go going forward with this. And I couldn't imagine like 2 years ago, even like. Obviously, 3 years ago, like Cam said, like I could have never imagined could never imagine a major wrestling promotion being at the level that they're at now. You know, being on the road and being in front of like live crowds, and you know, being able to have some of the biggest names in wrestling like they do now. Like they're having a major TV contract like on TNT. Like none of this ever seemed ever possible to ever do ever again. But even like 2 years ago, like. When they started the I guess you could say the Wednesday Night Wars with NXT and Dynamite, thinking at that point when Adam Cole was the NXT champion, to think that he'd be in AEW now, like back then, it's just mind blowing to me.
Absolutely,
like Adam Cole was like the top guy at that point on that brand and on that show. So I think at that top guy is like over with the competition now. It's just mind blowing to me.
Yeah, I still can't believe that if you let Adam Cole go. I thought for sure they would do everything, and I thought he was going to leave, but I thought for sure they were going to do everything in their power to try to keep that man. You know, to try to keep that man. I thought they were going to do everything in their power. Just roll the red carpet out for him.
Yeah, because I wouldn't. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, because like I agree with you, because like I thought that like I thought when they like, because I know they got CM Punk, and as I talked about before, how it was some of the guys that gotten, like I didn't want to like doubt, you know, their ability to be able to land these major signings, and you know, for Tony Khan to be able to get them to sign. Like I don't want to like discredit like that, because I am like a full believer in like his credibility as a wrestling promoter. I think he's like the absolute best out there right now. But I wasn't 100% convinced that he was directly going to go there because I know, like, obviously he has, he's got his friends there, Brits and AEW. Like, I understand there's those connections there, but still, like, I mean, obviously going to the main roster, make that what you will. I mean, it could definitely be risky in terms of like how you end up getting booked and portrayed on there compared to how you are in NXT. But still, I mean, he had like a great 4-year run there in NXT, like a phenomenal run. So I wasn't 100%. Like I knew he wasn't gonna. I knew he like after the match at the last takeover with Kyle. Like, I was like that was pretty clear to me that was the end that we saw on that show. But I wasn't at first 100% sold on the idea that he was 100% going to AEW. And I mean, he went there awfully quick. Like he legit wrestled that last match like 2 weeks ago, and then like he ended up the next thing you know he's like got all out. So that was the craziest ending to a pay-per-view I've seen. I think since the first AEW show, Double or Nothing in 2019 with John Moxley and Kenny. I think that was the craziest ending I've seen since then.
Adam Cole is somebody you'd want to build your brand around. He is one of the, if not the greatest in the world, in the ring, on the mic. He's a draw. Adam Cole in this company is a perfect fit.
Absolutely.
It's like a glove. I cannot wait. I can't wait to see what Adam Cole turns out here. I can't wait to see Adam Cole and Pac, Cole and Andrade, Cole and Omega, Cole and Bryan again, Cole and Punk, Cole and MJF, Cole and Darby. The roster is just loaded in terms of people who Adam Cole can face. In terms of who Adam Cole can face, and let him face them all. Let him face all, because this man was absolutely great.
All right. I think that is going to end us off. Thank you for coming on this show, both of you. I look forward to having you guys on some more. Very excellent review. Anything else you guys want to add?
Nothing to add from me. Just follow me on Twitter at Cam71101. Follow me on Twitter at Cam71101. And tonight, and if you want to get more of my thoughts on AEW, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to the Big Fight Field channel. I do AEW Rampage reviews every Friday over there. So if you want to get more of my thoughts on AEW, make sure you subscribe to the Big Fight Field channel. And that's about it.
As far as I go, you can follow me on Twitter at AllEliteCameron. On there, of course, I talk about AEW. I also talk about Impact Wrestling, or I'll talk about anything pro wrestling, Ring of Honor, even WWE. I mean, I'm pretty open to just discussing wrestling and giving my thoughts on things and being able to I like connecting with all the people involved in the wrestling community. So yeah, so be sure to follow me on there. And once again, I'd like to thank you, Zach, for having me on tonight. I thought it was a great review and had a blast. Love being able to talk about AEW, and I mean, it's such a great show in general. So just being able to go, like when shows are not so great, like it's kind of not as fun to talk about it because it's just like I don't like being negative on things. So like when it's a phenomenal show like this where I have nothing but positive things to say about it, definitely makes for a fun review. But no, I had a great time on here with you guys, and look forward to doing it again in the future.
We will definitely love to have you back on. And Cam, this isn't your first appearance, and it's not your last. You both are welcome on anytime. And without further ado, I bid you good night.